Hello, and welcome to the Nevada Public Library's Global Explorers program. Today we're going to be looking at the city of New Orleans and the holiday that they celebrated just last week, Mardi Gras. And we'll start with the reading of the story, A Catfish Tale. A Catfish Tale by Whitney Stewart. You ever heard the story of the fisherman and his wife? It's an old tale my papa told me when I was just a hatchling. Some say it's a lie, but papa swore he saw it all happen with his own eyes. A sweet young couple named Jacques and Jolie lived way on down the bayou. Jacques liked to pull his skiff through cypress knees to his favorite fishing hole, and Jolie peppered seafood gumbo so hot it made her husband's head sweat. Each night that woman sang so true, even the cicadas hushed up to listen. One day, Jacques' fishing pole started bending and shaking. He grabbed a hold and pulled so hard that a catfish sprang from the water. "Hold on there," the catfish cried. "Don't be thinking about supper when you look at me. I'm a magic catfish, and I'd spoil your gumbo pot." Jacques never did hear a catfish talk before, and it gave him a fright. So he freed that jabbering critter and paddled home for the night. "You did what?" Jolie hollered when Jacques told his catfish tale. "You didn't ask for even one small wish?" Jacques looked around and scratched his head. "What could I have wished for, ma chère? I don't need nothing more." Jolie's face turned crawfish red. "Do you have eyes inside your head? This shack is sinking in the mud. Go ask for a proper house where I can sing to a crowd." Jacques paddled back out to the swamp to beg that catfish to show his whiskers again, and he asked for Jolie's house. The catfish just grinned and said, "Ah, toolulu, if that ain't the easiest thing to do." Jacques had never seen a house so big, but Jolie filled it with friends and sang through the night. At breakfast, she announced, "I'm going to take my show on the road. All I need is a paddle wheel boat. Go ask that catfish for one more little thing." Jacques thought Jolie was asking for too much, but the catfish liked this fisherman. He smiled real wide and said, "Ah, toolulu, if that ain't the easiest thing to do." Jolie stood at the bow of her boat and sang to her fans. Up and down the river, they called her Queen of the Mississippi. Jolie loved being queen. Poor Jacques huddled in a cabin with an aching head. All that carrying on was too much for him, and he missed his fishing pole, so back he went to the bayou to find his catfish friend. Jolie filled the nightclubs of New Orleans. Her name was on the front page of every newspaper. Mardi Gras season was coming soon. People loved the parades. "I want to be Queen of Mardi Gras," Jolie wrote to Jacques. "Go ask that catfish for one more little thing." Jacques found the catfish in the same old place, and he asked his new ami, could Jolie have just one more wish? And this was his friend's reply, "Ah, toolulu, if that ain't the easiest thing to do." Jolie wore a diamond crown and a white satin gown. She rode on a float past cheering crowds, but nobody could hear her sing. She tried to throw out Mardi Gras beads and tangled them in her crown, but oh, how she loved being queen. When carnival was over, she missed her royal robes, so she wrote her husband again and said, "I want to be queen of the bayou. Go ask that catfish for one more little thing." Now this was just too much, but Jacques asked the catfish anyway, and you know what the catfish said? "Ah, toolulu, if that ain't the easiest thing to do." In a spectacle that outshined the sun, pelicans crowned Jolie queen. She stepped onto the stage and her fans applauded. Musicians blared their horns. Jolie cleared her throat, closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and began to sing. All at once, the wind started to howl and black clouds filled the sky. Trees twisted and turned and fish jumped from the river. Jolie's voice stirred up a hurricane and people ran for cover. Thunder boomed and lightning struck the church steeple. Snakes, alligators, and swamp creatures slithered up the riverbank. Ghosts and goblins flew from the cemeteries, and pirate skeletons escaped watery graves to dance in the streets. The storm sped across the stage, swooped Jolie up, and spun her through the sky. And into the treetops. Jolie hung on a branch like a crumbled doll. She sang out an urgent message to a passing pelican. "I've had enough of being queen. Tell my husband to ask that catfish for one more little thing." Jacques paddled faster than an alligator could swish its tail. He begged the catfish for one last wish. He meant it, really, one last wish. And what do you think the catfish said? Nope, you'd be wrong. He just winked at Jacques and disappeared neath the water. Because Jolie didn't need nothing more. And now we move on to our 5 facts section, giving you a little information on what Mardi Gras is all about. Fact number 1. Mardi Gras is a time of celebration and partying, and one of the biggest Mardi Gras festivals happens in New Orleans. Carnivals and parades bring tourists from around the world together as they celebrate their differing cultures with their traditions. Number 2. The term Mardi Gras is a French phrase meaning Fat Tuesday. The name comes from the practice of indulging in fatty foods before the season of Lent, which is an extended period of fasting. Fact number 3. In New Orleans, it is illegal to ride on a Mardi Gras parade float without a mask. This law has its roots during the time when Mardi Gras was seen as a day to mingle with everyone. Masks helped hide one's social class and thus helped break the barriers of traditional social interactions. Number 4. The traditional colors of Mardi Gras are purple, gold, and green, and represent justice, power, and faith, respectively. And finally, there are too many Mardi Gras traditions to list, but the most well-known is the parades. The first parade in New Orleans was held in 1837 and is put on by local clubs called crews. And now it's time for today's craft, where we'll be making our own Mardi Gras masks. Templates can be picked up here at the library. And to start, I'm going to color in the mask using the traditional Mardi Gras colors, green, purple, and gold. After you get your mask all decorated, you can go ahead and cut it out. And then cutting out the eyes can be a little tricky. One method to use is to give it just a little fold on the eyes like so, and then take your scissors and give it just a little snip. And then that creates a hole there in the eye that you can then carefully punch one of the edges of the scissor through, but then give you a way to cut it out without hitting the rest of the mask. And then once you've got the eyes cut out, the last thing to do is attach the string. Now you can just use tape if you wish, but I'm going to put 2 small holes in the edges of the mask and then tie them on. Like so. Then we're just going to tie the strings off here at the ends. All right. And then you can put the mask on, and if yours is like mine is, where it's a little bit too long, we can just shorten it by tying off the back here. And once you get the string the right length, you'll have your very own Mardi Gras mask. That's all we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a little something, and I hope to see you again next time.